So this past week or two, I've been on a few job interviews. I've been asked more than once, our business or our organization, we want to be on social media. We're doing social media right now. And what are the platforms that we need to be on social media? Those were job interview questions. So we're going to pretend like I'm in a job interview, and I'm going to tell you the 7 places that you should probably be if you're a business or an organization on social media. This is episode 9. Hello, everybody. This is Tim Adkins Does Digital. Hi, my name is Tim Adkins. Doing the podcast, been away for a while. I don't know who said it, but there's a saying that says, if you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans. I originally had planned to do this more or less regularly twice a week, and then I didn't do it for a while because I had lots of stuff going on. Unfortunately, I had a pet pass away, my cat, Josie, who was 17 years old. She was an amazing, amazing little friend, and we had to help her cross the Rainbow Bridge on a couple weeks ago, and that was a little sad, but I had some job interviews that I'm talking about. One in particular was for my local Convention and Visitors Bureau as a director. Probably one of the most bizarre job interview experiences I've had. And I may say something about that at a later date. I may do another podcast or maybe even a blog post about it because it was just really strange. But I'm trying not to be bitter about it. So, I may never work in this town again if I'm too bitter about it because, important people, right? But enough about that and enough about me. Let's get down to the business at hand. And the business at hand is where should I be? And I get a lot of businesses and organizations, even ones that aren't interviewing me for a job, who ask me this thing all the time. They say, well, where I'm on Facebook, right? And I keep wondering whether I should be on Twitter or not, or whether I should be on Instagram. Should I be on Instagram? Should I be on Pinterest? Where should I be? And so today I'm going to talk about where you should be. I'm going to break it down for you. I've got 7 different places that you should consider if you're going to run social media for your business or for your organization. And I wrote down all this stuff, and oh my goodness, I just wrote down so much stuff. This may be a long episode. But my friend Felipe said, he said, I like your podcasts, but you don't talk for very long. You just talk for 10 minutes or so, and then poof, you're gone, right? I mean, couldn't you make those things longer? And, this is the first time I've ever had anybody ask me to speak longer. I think you should ramble more, Tim. I think you should just, run your mouth a whole lot more. 15 minutes is not enough. Well, thanks, Felipe. I'm going to do a little bit more this time, I think. The 7 places that you should probably consider. Number 1, and the big daddy of them all, right? Should I be on Facebook? I have a business. I have an organization. Should I be on Facebook? Should you be on Facebook? If you're asking me that question, and then you're really starting at the very beginning, of course, yes. Yes, you should be on Facebook. This is the only one of the 7 that I'm going to tell you about that you should be on, period, without question. Facebook is the largest social media platform in the world, and it's only getting bigger. Was 2.1 billion users worldwide last time I checked. The question really isn't, should I be on Facebook? The question really should be, how do I use Facebook? And I'm going to be talking about that in another episode, pretty sure, because, there's a big debate going on right now whether Facebook organic reach is dead or not. And for me, a lot of people are saying, no, it's not dead. And then some people say, well, pay to play is where it is now. And, you're not really reaching a whole lot of people with organic reach. I've seen a whole lot of figures that say anywhere from 2% to 6% of your fans are only going to be the only ones that see what you post. Even if it's 6%, even at that high end. I mean, if you have 100 fans and you're just starting out and you've just crossed the 100 fan threshold and you really are happy, and you make a post about it, well, only 6 people are probably going to see that post, even at the high end. So basically, you need to be on Facebook because you have to have that social media presence. And if you're having a social media presence, Facebook is the place to be. But you need to be there for ads. You need to be there so you can run ads, because for most people, like I said, organic reach is pretty much dead. Unless you are massively clever or like incredibly witty, or sometimes if you do like garbage posts, I like to call them, like the ones that say, we're giving away a free pizza or something, and like, comment, and share and tag 2 friends. If you do that, by the way, Facebook docks that. Facebook sees that and they say, we're not going to show that to a whole lot of people. So really what you're doing is you're cutting off your nose to spite your face if you do that like, comment, and share stuff. You think that you're getting a whole lot of engagement, but Facebook sees what you're doing. And, a lot of the posts that you have from there on out, Facebook may not show to a whole lot of people because you were blatantly breaking the rules. But as far as Facebook goes, yes, you have to be on Facebook if you're running any kind of social media campaign at all. So, after Facebook, the next one that people usually ask me is Twitter, because people always talk about, Facebook and Twitter. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is usually the number that they come up with now, or the 3 that they mention. So should you be on Twitter? And I'm going to say this is going to be the first conditional one. And I say, yes, you should probably be on Twitter if you have time to carry on a conversation, if you have time to interact directly with your customers or your clients or your other posters, then you should probably be on Twitter. Twitter has a lot of high rewards if you can do that effectively and really communicate with people in real time, pretty much. It's very rewarding, and people are quite loyal on Twitter. You have to be quick. A half-life for a Twitter post, and what that means is basically when you make a post, the most engagement that you're going to get is the half-life is about 18 minutes. So after 18 minutes, your post is pretty much going to not get as much engagement, probably by about half. And then after another 18, you're probably going to, diminish by another half. It's very similar to how elements break down in nature. I think that's where they get that. I don't know. I wasn't very good at science or chemistry or anything like that. But in any case, okay, so 18 minutes, that's the shortest. 18 minutes is the shortest of any social platform. So you have to make sure that you're really kind of staying on top of things. There's a lot of pros of being on Twitter. Twitter can be highly personable. There's a lot of brand accounts that are really rocking Twitter right now. Wendy's, Moon Pie, Pop-Tarts, Steak-'em. There's several more. They're using this brand personality to great effect. So if you follow any of these brands on Twitter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you're a small business or an organization, you may not want to use that specific strategy because you may not be as witty as those people. But the whole point of it is to be able to interact and communicate pretty much in real time. So be on Twitter if you want to carry on personal conversations in real time with others who are kind of at the party. Like, think of it like you're at a big giant cocktail party or something, and you have an opportunity to mix with people and talk to them and kind of see what they're about. Twitter is a really good place to do that. So if you can handle being there, if you can handle keeping up with it, then you may be able to do pretty well on Twitter. So like I said, the third one that they talk about, usually they say Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And so should your business or organization be on Instagram? And my answer to that is yes, if you have really interesting visual content like photos, short videos, if you have that stuff to share, yes, Instagram would be great for you. If you sell a product with a highly visual component, like fashion, or if you have a restaurant and you want to show pictures of your food, or if you're doing design or tourism, for example, I'll get to that later. Like I said, then you really can't not be on Instagram. I mean, if you're into one of those businesses or organizations where a lot of the things that you do has visual content on a real visual angle, you really have to be there. There are people and there are organizations, there are businesses that shouldn't be on Instagram. Well, who are those? You shouldn't be on Instagram if you're going to post like PDFs, like I kind of ranted about in the Facebook post episode. If you're, putting up stuff with lots of text, like promotional materials or flyers or things that have a lot of type on it, and especially if it's small type, and people who don't know how to use Instagram, it just drives me insane. Instagram is very specific with using square videos or, not square videos, but square graphics. Sometimes you can get away with, if you're doing Instagram stories, which I'll talk about later, you could do like different sizes, but you really want to keep those square. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll load up Buffer, or they'll load up Hootsuite or whatever, and they'll have a horizontal Facebook sized graphic, and they'll just throw it up on Instagram too. Well, if you throw it up on Facebook and it's horizontal, it looks pretty good. But if you throw it up on Instagram, it's going to cut off and it looks ridiculous. And if you have text along with that, it's going to cut your text off and it's going to look ridiculous. And I see way too many businesses and organizations do this, and you have to stop doing it. If you're posting the same thing on Facebook and Instagram and you're using a posting app, I'm just going to tell you flat out, stop doing it. Get off of Instagram completely, because 99.99% of all of you are embarrassing yourselves with bad Instagram posts and doing more damage for yourself than good to your social media efforts if you continue to do this. Yes, you should be on Instagram if you're not posting a lot of text, if you're posting a whole lot of visual stuff, if you can keep it square, or at least keep it to the point to where it looks good with the sizes that Instagram allows you to have. And if you're not just throwing stuff up there because you think, well, we'll throw it up on Instagram because people are there. If you are doing that, if you're not visual, if you're just throwing up there to get traction, you're not getting traction that way. Stay off Instagram if you're doing that. Now, if you are, on the other hand, visual, if you're doing a whole lot of visual stuff, if you're a whole lot of doing pictures and, videos to a certain degree, then you kind of have to be there. So Instagram is one of those things where, it could do very well for you if you're visually oriented. It can be very embarrassing for you if you aren't. So keep that in mind. So here's the fourth one. The fourth one is, should I be on LinkedIn? Now, I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of my favorite social platforms. So should my business, should my organization, should they be on LinkedIn? And the answer to that is yes, if. Yes, if you take your business seriously. And yes, if you want to reach out to other professionals and influencers. Now, I like it because the people that I want to emulate, the people that I want to follow professionally, like my mentors and people I admire, people who are in the same business that I'm in, people that I work with, they're all there. They all keep it professional there. This is not like Facebook. Facebook and LinkedIn are two completely different things. LinkedIn is very professionally minded. They're very business oriented. If you're running a B2B business, or, you're catering to other businesses, you practically have to be on LinkedIn to be successful. It gives you professional street cred. And I think that's one of the most important things about LinkedIn is if you have a real presence on LinkedIn, it gives you a whole lot of street credibility with other professionals in your field. So yes, you really should be on LinkedIn if you take your business seriously. If you're not being serious about your business, then don't be on LinkedIn. But most people who are in business, they like to take it pretty seriously. So in that case, yeah, I think you should have a LinkedIn presence. It's also good because if you blog or if you write, you can have native articles there that are awesome and people can share those. You can also, share posts as well. It's like Facebook, but serious and dressed up, put it that way. Maybe that's not the best way to put it. I don't know, but LinkedIn is for professionals. It's for serious professionals. If you're a serious professional, you should be there. All right. Now, should my business or organization be on YouTube? Should we be doing YouTube videos? And for that, I'm going to say yes, if you make quality video content, then yes, you should be on YouTube. Now, there's always been, and I don't know why we're still arguing this in 2019, but I've gone to some of these job interviews and they keep saying, hey, Should we be on YouTube or should we be on Vimeo? Really? Are we still talking about that in 2019? Are we still doing that, having that discussion? Listen, guys, YouTube is the second most used search engine in the world behind Google. Okay. The search in itself is massive. It is specifically the video platform to be on. Now, a time ago, people used to say, well, Vimeo is for serious filmmaking and all of that. And that's the way they marketed themselves. And yes, for a time they were. But now that YouTube has, 4K capabilities and all of that other stuff, and if you're marketing, oh my goodness, it's just, you shouldn't even be asking this question. The reach that YouTube has compared to Vimeo or Dailymotion or any of the other, video platforms, it's just laughable how people even think that from a marketing standpoint, that's even comparable. If you make terrible content, now people are not going to like it. Now people are either going to, kind of ignore you, or they're going to pay attention for the wrong reasons. They're going to make fun of you, and that's not good. You're going to bore people possibly, and that's not good. So, I'm not saying don't be on YouTube if that's the case, because everybody's got to start somewhere. If you're going to do that sort of thing, then, kind of start slow and all of that. But if you're a small business or an organization, here's what I would suggest. I would suggest if you're going to be on YouTube and if you're going to be on Facebook video, keep it real. Don't try to be overly polished. Don't try to do too much as far as production level goes. Yes, be on YouTube if you can keep it real. And people like that. People like authenticity. The more that I'm seeing with video, the more authentic you are, the more people appreciate it. So yes, if you can keep it authentic, then YouTube is a fine place to be. Try to keep that content. If you can't be authentic, be good. Be both if you can. Let's go to the last two. And these last two are two that you probably wouldn't even think about, but I think you should. First off, you should be on Medium. Now, what is Medium? Well, Medium is kind of like a hybrid of a blog and a social media platform. People who write long form content post that stuff up to Medium, and it's kind of a place where a lot of long form content from a lot of different places live. Kind of like a magazine type format. In fact, there are some Medium magazines, I guess for lack of a better term, that will take articles from Medium and republish them and redistribute them to their fans. So it's long form blog content. It's catching on a whole lot. It's professional. It's attractive. It's a good platform. It's easy reading on mobile. You can post and embed links and pictures and videos. And online magazines, like I said, publications can pick up your article for a wider audience. So like if you're posting on a blog anyway, and you probably should be, if you have a business or an organization that has a website, you probably should be blogging. And if you're doing that, then keep your blog and, don't get rid of it. But while you're blogging, take that article and also post it on Medium. You're going to get a whole lot more eyeballs on it. Plus, in a lot of ways like LinkedIn, it gives you professional street credibility to be published on Medium. Okay, and the last one, maybe you should also be on Anchor, like I am, or any other podcasting service. Podcasting is the biggest thing going on right now. It's crazy how it started out like in 2004, 2005. It was supposed to be the big thing, and then people stopped doing it. And now it's starting to really, really catch on with, Alexa flash briefings and Spotify and iTunes and all the different places that you can be. It's really starting to catch on. Now, I like Anchor because of the ease of use. The distribution is great. I mean, come on, I'm everywhere. And Anchor does a lot of that for me. I post to Anchor and automatically it posts to the greatest majority of my outlets. Now, there are a few that I have to still do manually. I think Spreaker and SoundCloud. There's a couple there but that's not really difficult. Anchor takes care of most of the rest. So why would you do that? Well, you would do it because like long form reading, sometimes people do other things. Like sometimes they're driving to work, or sometimes they're on a subway, or just passing the time listening to podcasts. If they're doing that, then your business can use this a lot like video, but it's more passive as far as participation. If you're watching a video, you have to sit and actually, have your eyeballs and your ears all open in order to watch a video. Whereas if you're doing a podcast, you could be doing something else and still listening to the podcast. And I think businesses and organizations could really take advantage of this in order to kind of put their name out there. So consider that. Consider all 7 of these. What 7 are they? There's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Medium, and Anchor. Those are the 7 that I think you should really consider. Now, right now, and this is just my personal preference, I just say no to some other stuff that a lot of people think are really hot right now. Disappearing content, for example. I'm not a big fan of using disappearing content for your business. Snapchat, Facebook stories, Instagram stories, just not into it. I think that a lot of people think it's hot right now, and it is. And there are businesses that have taken advantage of disappearing content and done very well. Typically, those businesses are trendy with people who, audiences who are younger, like the whole marketing, the fear of missing out marketing, or FOMO, I guess they call it. You know what? If you're catering to a younger audience and you're hip, I guess that's an old people term, isn't it? You're hip. If you're catering to a younger audience and you're trendy like that, maybe that's the place to be. But even so, even if you think that that's the audience that you're trying to reach, you better come correct with the real deal. Because, if there's one thing that I know about younger audiences is that they can smell BS a mile away. And if you're trying to do the whole, hello, fellow kids thing, it's just not going to come off well. So I'm not a big fan of disappearing content right now. I could be proven wrong. And if I am, then that's fine. I don't mind that at all. I mean, social media is one of those things where people are proven wrong every day. And so am I. So, I wouldn't care too much if I were proven wrong at one point. Also, Instagram TV for right now, I just don't think it has a wide enough appeal for people who don't have the basics down. If you want to do Instagram TV, if you want to do IGTV, that's great. But kind of make sure that you have some of the other basics down already before you try to take on IGTV. If you don't, it's just going to come off weird. Kind of know what you're doing. Know the basics about video. Know the basics about mobile video and about doing live video. Even if you're not doing it live, just know those basics before you get started on IGTV. Otherwise, it's just going to look odd, I think. But that's my opinion, and you may have your own, and heck, that's what makes the world go round, right? But anyway, those are the 7. Those are the places that I think you should be if you are running a business or organization on social media and you're looking for social media strategy. Now, as for me and the podcast, you can pretty much find me everywhere. Here's the big list. You can find me on iTunes at Apple Podcasts. You can find me at Google Podcasts, on Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Radio Public, Overcast, Breaker, Podbean, Pocket Casts, and of course, Anchor. Anchor just got bought out by Spotify, and there's some new changes coming there. I think they're all going to be positive changes. I think that's pretty excited to see what's going to happen there. Also follow me on Twitter. You can follow me there at Tim Adkins Online. That's all one word, and it's a big long word, but you can just break it down, Tim Adkins Online. And hey, you can also support this podcast and help me stay online, by the way. Help me because I still haven't received a job yet. Like I said, I'm going to talk about that job interview one of these times. But you can support this podcast through the following link. It's anchor.fm/Tim Adkins, one word, /support. So anchor.fm/Tim Adkins /support. If you want to go on there and, throw me a cup of coffee a month, hey, that'd be great. Interviews are coming, by the way. I got some headphones. They're cheap, but they're good. And so interviews are coming. So stay tuned for those. And in the meantime, I think I'm at the end of my notes and at the end of my time. So I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for hanging out with me and sharing a little bit of your time with me. Sure appreciate it. When am I going to be back on? Heck, I don't know. I mean, I tried to do a schedule and that didn't work. So, but now that I've got this one down, it's going to be easier to do the next one. So I'll see you in a few days, hopefully, and keep it right here for more episodes. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you soon.